Welcome back, everyone. This is Shadow Drake, and here we're gonna talk about Amy, and looks like she is absolutely hopping and ready to get started. No more jumps? Okay. Alright, so Amy. Y- Amy. Okay, so she technically has 7 modes. She can be fully connected to a logic transmitter, and she is definitely a useful mid to late game mining option in the sense that she has increased yields. It looks like it's going to be about 3 times yield from what you normally would be able to mine. And she can be programmed and she's got her logic, occupant hashes, and stuff. So we're just going to kind of delve deep into her because she is definitely a friend and a nemesis at the same time. So one of the things I want to mention for her right off the bat is that she can be connected to a logic transmitter so that you can tell exactly what's going on with her. And because of that, you are able to technically program her through an external IC so that you don't have to worry about programming her and putting a chip on her head to make her do something. And this setup that I have is going to be very overcomplicated engineering, but that's so that I can see what's inside all her slots so that we can see what she's mining, what the yields are. And then as far as her mode, 0 is idle state, where she just basically does nothing. 1, she interestingly follows a player, which I've kind of used it to decent effect. 2, she moves in a straight line to a target position that you give her. 3, she just wanders around in mine. 4, she unloads in a chute or bin. 5, she path finds to a target, so it's like 2, except that she tries to avoid holes and stuff. And 6 is while she's mining and she tries to mine again, 6 is just a quick state that says, hey, her bag is full. So let's kind of dive into it. So she has some iron in her, so what I am going to do is put her right next to this chute and give her a state 4. So just very simple, this chip is just for me just messing with her states. So if I give her a state 4, it goes to 4 and she just starts pooping out her ores. Awesome. And once she is done, she goes back to the idle state. Okay, so that's fairly simple. Are you happy about yourself? Yeah. And just to kind of go over that thing, I'm going to go on ahead and fill up her slots with some random stuff that's here. There used to be ices here, but they melted by now. So she is full. As you can tell, full. All my slot data over there says that she is full. So that if I tell her to do a mining state, which is 3, if I slot that on there, you will see a 6 pop up. Yep. See, the 6 pops up. That lets you know that she is full. You can run an error routine so that she can come back and drop off her stuff. And so, just I'm just gonna push her back to a 4 and be done. And now, while I am doing this on the chip on her head, there's nothing stopping you from using get out of here from using an IC housing, because this IC housing is look at the logic transmitter, which is giving you the AIMEE bot's data. And so because of that, I could technically change this to SD0 SD0. Oh, come on now. And let's just give her back something. I could put SD0 because that's the pin, and that should tell her to dump off her load, as so. See, she doesn't even need a chip on her head to be happy, even though she's flashing an error because she doesn't have a chip. So, yeah. So, you can control the AIMEE from the chip on her head or the chip on the IC housing. There's definite benefits and drawbacks to either. The benefit of the chip on AIMEE's head is that she can essentially be an automated robot to go mine, come back, drop off, go back, mine, come back, drop off, and such. And she can do that basically at her own pleasure until she gets stuck somewhere. Now, the benefits of putting it on a base IC means that you can create logic or switches to make conditions for when she goes out, mines, comes back, and say a storm has happened, and she can just automatically come back to a specific spot, and then she'll wait there. I don't know, hangars will close, something will protect her from the storm. Storm is over, hangars open, AIMEE goes back and does her thing. So there are benefits and drawbacks to each method. Of course, the base IC10 is going to become complicated, and right now all that I'm doing is just to see her slot data to see what she does. Now, let's get to the move in a straight line versus pathfind to target. So what I've done is I'm going to tell AIMEE to go mine at this spot right here where this flare is. I'm telling her to come here towards that flare. And so to highlight the differences between move straight line and move pathfinding, you're going to see pretty obvious difference. So move straight line, she's going to head straight towards that flare. If I didn't forget to change the D0 to DB, let's fix that code. Move straight towards the flare. So there she goes. As far as mode, she's moving to, and into the hole she goes. Perfect. I'm sure you've seen that multiple times from people who complain about AIMEEs, that she just basically falls straight in the hole. And somehow she got out. Alright, perfect. Once she gets to her designated location, she idles. Alright. Let's do the same thing, except with Pathfind. So, AIMEE, we're going to put you right back. I'm sure you're absolutely happy about this. Definitely not making a fool out of you or anything. So, pathfinding. Let's see what she does. And this one is quirky. So, she obviously sees the hole and begins hopping. This is actually very amusing. I kid you not, I actually watched her do this a couple of times, and it's just funny. Never stops being funny, but she's gonna eventually get to that flare. And that's why you saw her hopping at the beginning, because I had set her to move to target up there, and she just started hopping. And you can kind of tell the pathfinding leaves much to be desired. Let's just go with that. She's eventually going to get there. And I think she made it. Yep, looks like she made it. And she's hopping. Yep, because she's idling. The weird thing is when she idles still, she sometimes hops. Anyways. So, that's basically the brief overview for her. So then, honestly, what will it take to program this thing so that it doesn't become a nemesis? Well, I already had a chip prepared for that, just to kind of go over it. And if you saw my attempt at surviving with the AIMEE, I made improvements to that chip. So, in a sense, I have comments between whether she returns to me or return to drop. And I've had issues with the pathfinding. Like, she sometimes makes it there, but she sometimes not. I have not had much success with her going to where she's supposed to go. Like, sometimes for pathfinding, she just hops in place and then idles out like she found her spot. I don't understand why she never goes to a spot in code. So most of my fives are being replaced to twos, and I've tried different methods, and she free spirits, and you smile, you devilish nuisance. So yeah, yeah. Now go do something. There we go. So in short, what my code did, um, in the failed series, I told her to go up to a spot, mine, and then come back to me. Oh wow, she actually, I forget that she can somewhat spider mine. So she's basically going to this initial location, she'll start mining, and then we can kind of talk about what's going on with the code. So she's still going someplace. We'll watch when she goes to mining mode. Man, I must have told her to go pretty far. There you go, mining mode. So now she's mining again, and we're gonna see her pick up. So essentially what I did for an AIMEE, and I'm just gonna talk through while she's doing that. I have a whole lot of initialization. Um, I'm using a return value so that she can go back to the exact same spot she left off. I saw this in Cows Are Evil code and some dev code so that she can go back to the same spot. This will eventually allow her to just wander off into who knows where. She should stay in roughly that 15 coordinate area, but she will eventually drift because technically the last location you get when she fills up, you know, you shift the location ever so slightly. So I have code for that, but I still have my targets X, Y, and Z target for where she should begin mining, and a drop off for basically where the chute is to drop off. And wow, you mined so much water. Wow, that was fast. You gonna make it out of there? And the hole you go. Like I said, I tried pathfinding, and I'm 50-50. Sometimes she actually makes it, and other times she just does not. Like, I don't quite understand her sometimes. So she's coming back home, stops right where she needs to be, and starts dropping off all that water. I don't want that breaking anything. You can see she mined quite a bit of water. Now this is in creative mode, mind you, so let's... I'll show Stationeer difficulty eventually. And now she's going to go off to roughly where she found that water and begin mining. And you're going to fall in the hole again, aren't you? Let's just... If I put you over here, will you be smarter about it? I hope so. Anyways, sorry. Got distracted. So, essentially, I have logic for her mode, a state whether she's dropping stuff off or not, index for indexing, and my return values and stuff. So, pretty much the first things I do is she goes immediately to the target location I want her to go to, and then go to a mine spot. Now, mine spot, as you kind of see, removes the dropping off flag. It's just an internal flag so that I know that she needs, whether she's dropping off or not. She sets the stuff, again, straight line, because pathfinding, I was 50-50 on whether it works or not. And then basically I'm inside my main loop. And this is where that whole dropping off flag is needed. If that flag, the dropping off flag is active, it skips the try to mine stage and instead goes to the dropping off spot. If for some reason the modes, yeah, you know, it's either going to be mining or dropping off when it hits idle. Otherwise, it goes to the return drop. And of course, mining is pretty simple. Tell her to mine. Drop off just basically is the point where she is back at home, and it checks every single slot. If a slot has a 1, Then it basically sets her mode to 4 to make sure she keeps dumping her load in there. Once everything is clear, then she goes back to mine spot to go back and resume. But otherwise, for the return drop, it tells her to come to the shoot network and go straight line. Because again, pathfinding sometimes works and oh yeah, now you mine gold. Sometimes the pathfinding does not work with her. To my greatest displeasure. She's gonna fall in the hole again. So, I mean, truth be told, AIMEE is not super complex. Really, what makes her complex is that. Trying to figure out how to keep her from essentially getting stuck in terrain. So then, some things that you could probably do is fill in the terrain with, walls and stuff. That might help her to keep her from falling down holes. But I'll be honest, that is not extremely helpful. It's not as helpful as you would think it would be. Because she still gets herself stuck. And so, honestly, one of the best things you can do is create a control board to know where she is. Maybe an alarm that says if she hasn't been, if her state is a movement state, and she actually does have velocities, for example, she has velocity magnitude, relative, x, y, and z. Oops. Honestly, if her velocity has been almost 0, see like that, she's stuck. Okay, she's not stuck anymore. She used to get stuck there. So, if you're watching her and her velocity magnitude probably plummets to nothing, then she's probably stuck. Set yourself an alarm or something to your suit to let you know, hey, she's stuck. That way you can go out and find her and see if you can get her back. Okay, she's wandering and mining, so let's do difficulty Stationeer. So now we're in Stationeer difficulty, and you can see she mined 9 gold out of that. If I remember right, it's 2 to 4 gold. So with the times 3 multiplier, she theoretically mined 3 gold, multiplied by 3, made it 9. And water, I think 15 should be the max. If it is 5 water. But it just goes to show that she has a pretty good mining multiplier that we as a player do not have access to. She mined more gold. She's mining 9 gold. She couldn't have done that before. I'm not salty, I promise. It's just hilarious how free-spirited she is. So, okay, so all in all, in short, AIMEE has some modes that you can work with, and you can tell her what positions to go to. Honestly, this state board is very extra. You don't really need something big. I would recommend knowing what her mode is, and what her current position is, and maybe her magnitude, just in case she gets stuck. Yeah, she's mining a lot of gold. Anyways, I will post my script on the workshop if you want to tinker around with it or use a background, something to kind of get started with her. It is by no means perfect, and it definitely requires that you use a GPS cartridge. For example, wherever you place your shoot network, you need to see the GPS coordinates, 35017, and that's what you need to use for your shoot network. And when you want to go, it really is best to scout where she's going to go. Like, for example, she's mining over here. This will be your starting location, and then leave her at it. Oh, and before I forget, her mining, she knows where all of these nodes are. And so, we're going to follow her, and hopefully she mines something that we will see a square go away. Yep. If you didn't see that, there's some gold down here that she is currently mining, and she does remove them from the table, as you can tell. Yep, she is. Okay, so Really? She is all about mining that gold right there. And she does have logic to know what minimals are near her. So she's going to get that water probably. Yep, there it goes. So the interesting thing is you can watch her do her job. And it actually kind of works. But as you can tell, she will eventually mine out a resource node. So yeah. Anyways, uh, that sums it up about AIMEE. So use her at your great peril or benefit, and hope to see you later. So talk to you later. Bye bye.